Alright, the content of this very video will be very helpful to you if you will be arriving in the UK either as a student or as a first timer. The things I'll be sharing on this video are the things no one told me my very first time in this very country. I found it very difficult, because I didn't get this pre-hand information before ever arriving in the UK. So please stay back and enjoy this content. My name is Chinyere Ojike. I am a mommy lifestyle vlogger, and I also make videos about UK tips, ask your general questions about the UK, how to move down here, how to get admission here, whatever it is you are not really clear about, drop your questions in the comment section and I would respond to that. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like this video, drop your comments, subscribe to my channel if this is your first time. Thank you so much for stopping by. So, if you are arriving in the UK for the very first time, there are things you should do soon after arriving in the UK. Yes, the first thing you have to do is to get your SIM card right at the airport on arrival. On my second missionary journey to UK, yes, I returned to UK last year, August, on coming off the airport at Heathrow in London. Despite me arriving in the UK with my family, the first thing we did, my husband and myself, was to get our SIM card right at the airport, because it was also necessary for us to get UK SIM card because we had to use the card. Yes, especially when we got down here at the airport, Teesside Airport. We arrived at 10 p.m. We needed a SIM card to call, so we got that in case of you might be calling cabs or trying to locate your address. You need a UK SIM card right from the airport. Now, the second point is this. If you are arriving here as a student, after this step, remember that on arrival, you should be able to locate your department on arrival. My first time, in fact, they dropped me off at school. Yeah, the family that picked me up at the airport during my first missionary journey 8 years ago, they dropped me off at the uni. So I walked into the school, the information center precisely, where you can ask all the questions, So the first thing they did was to direct me on where I could go. That is the students' learning zone, where I could access a computer on my own. I did my registration by myself. So if you are coming from Africa, ensure that you know a little about how to use computer, MS Word, Microsoft Word, and all the minor aspect of computer. It will really help you because here you do everything on your own. So I did my registration on my own, print out the form and walked back to the Student Information Center, hand over the form to them. That is where they helped me to get out my ID card immediately, because you wouldn't really understand the announcement that is being given. You are better off checking your email. There, they will have the welcome pack where they will break down all the starting information for you, where all the things you are supposed to do on arrival. The next thing you are expected to do is to get your BRP, that is biometric residence permit. Yes, you should get this from any post office around you within 10 days of arrival here in the UK, or you should go to your student information center and request for this, because most often your school, being your sponsor, they tend to go collect these things for you and keep them in the school. So you might want to find out from your school information center if they've collected your BRP. If not, go to any post office around you. That is where we got our own on arrival. Though my second missionary journey in this country, not as a student, but as a dependent. But that notwithstanding, you are coming as a dependent, or you are here to work, you are here to study, go to the post office and check for it. As a student, go to your school first. If it's not there, then proceed to the post office. Remember, you are expected to get your BRP within 10 days of arriving in this very country. And you are going with your visa letter. The letter where they put your visa on, take it there to the post office. It is a proof that you got a visa to stay in this country. Then they would give you the card, the BRP card, where it has, if you are a student, in your BRP card, it says you are restricted to work just 20 hours a week. And depending on the kind of the visa you come in, restriction or non-restricted information will be there on your BRP. Now, for the national insurance number, I want to assure you that if you have a BRP, you already have your national insurance number, because the national insurance number is usually at the back of your BRP. This is the right for you to work in this country. This is why it is important you get this as soon as you arrive. If you are planning to work here as a student, as a dependent, you need your BRP, because it allows you the opportunity to work as you are applying for any employment here. If you get through with their interview, the next thing, in fact, before the interview, they will be asking you, do you have the right to work in the UK, which is your BRP, national insurance number. Before this time, years back, they used to have the national insurance number separate and the right to work or the right to live in the UK separate. But this time around, it's just in one card, front and back. The front is the BRP. In the back, you will see the number, your national insurance number. This is the number through which they deduct tax from as you work in this very country. So it is necessary you grab one on arrival. Arriving here as a student, make sure you get your ID card as early as possible, because having access to your student ID card offers you a lot of opportunities, because once you have your ID card, you have access to the school library, you have access to the school computers. Assuming you go to the library and all the computers are occupied, you can borrow a laptop from the library using your student ID card to sign in, and you can access the school bus with your ID card. So it's very important you get your ID card. A lot of things you want to do in this country, they would be asking for your ID card, your student ID card, or your right to stay in this very country, which is your BRP. The next thing you should be considering doing is to open a bank account, because it is very much important to have a bank account. Even if your parents are paying for your study here, you need a bank account to be receiving money from them, and you need a bank account to keep the cash you came in with. Do not give it to someone, because they might disappoint you. I had a terrible experience as a student. The money I came in with, I handed over to someone. I cannot tell you what happened to that money. It is really sad, because I don't want to remember the story. So open a bank account on arrival. Throw in your money in there. This is why you also need your BRP instantly, your student ID card, because all this will be required. And you get a letter from school in order to open a bank account. You need a letter from your school. You take this letter to the bank with your student ID card, your BRP, or your international passport. Your account will be opened. Then, even as a dependent, you need a bank account. You need a proof of address to show that you are living somewhere. And all this, your identity card, that's your BRP, your passport is needed, and utility bill per se. It depends on where you arrived. On arrival, basically, if you're here as a dependent, assuming you came in with your husband and wife arriving here, if you are staying in a hotel or in an Airbnb, I would even suggest or recommend airbnb accommodation for couples coming in here with their family, because it's really okay and comfortable. Check out the video I put up about our arrival, staying in Airbnb here. Yes, I made a video. Scroll down to my videos, you would find it. It was absolutely fantastic. So the Airbnb owner, landlord or landlady should be able to provide you with letter that is proof of address, showing that yes, you've stayed in his or her accommodation. This proof of address would enable the bank to open an account for you. Now, if you are a student, endeavor to sort out your accommodation before you arrive the country. Before ever arrive as a student, I already paid for my hostel accommodation. Yes, I paid for the student lodge, £250. That was 8 years ago. Unfortunately, on arrival, there was no space for me, being that I didn't come on the day the school resumed. The school resumed on the 18th September and arrived on the 24th of September, so I couldn't get a place. I was lucky I got a family, Joe and Trish. I stayed at this till I moved to Sandres, and then I got a place of my own. That's a student lodge. The house is it's 2-story building, but mostly students that are staying there, But if you be staying in a public house per se, that's a shared house, Remember that you're going to be doing the cleaning, you're going to be sharing some routines, sharing bathrooms and all them stuff, But if it is a private lodge also, and is basically where everything is inclusive, cleaners are going to be coming to clean the apartment for you. Yeah, but you'll be sharing toilets, you'll be sharing bathrooms, you'll be sharing kitchens, But the same happens when it is, in the hostel, school hostel. But school hostel, they are quite clean. They have all the domestic staff coming in to do all the cleaning, to do all the jobs for you there, but they cannot cook for you. But you will be sharing kitchen, you'll be sharing bathrooms. Just that they are a little bit way more expensive compared to you getting a house off campus. Whichever way, arrange this before arrival, or on arrival, if you have a place to perch, a relative, somewhere you can be staying at days. Plan this ahead of time before you arrive here. Next point is you have to register with a GP. Yes, arriving as a student, arriving as anything into this country, you already paid your IHS. That's the health surcharge. Apart from healthcare workers that are exempted from paying health surcharge. But even at that, on arrival, you need to register with a GP so that you can have access to the healthcare treatments here in the UK. So it is imperative you do this registration. Register with any GP that is nearest to your address, or you go to your school and find out. They would guide you and tell you the one that is very close to your address. Then as a dependent or as a worker in this country, use Google to check nearest GP to my address. Google will bring up the addresses of the GPs that are close to you. You register with them. Yeah, as a woman, remember on arrival, if you are above 21 years, you are expected to do your pap smear test. It is done in the UK every 3 years for all women. Now, the next thing is to start getting your CV, your resume, your cover letter, start getting them ready. Have the one for a part-time job and have the one for a full-time job. Have a general CV for all kinds of jobs. Start getting them ready. And as a student, you can go to your career department in the school. They would also guide you on the availabilities or suitable jobs that are there for you as a student. At the end of it all, they can direct you to the job center within that city or within that town where you are, where your school is located. They will talk to you about job availabilities and opportunities suitable for you. As a student, I also got a railcard, and it is important for you if you'll be using the train to anywhere, walk into any of the train station nearest to your location, with your student ID card, apply or get a railcard for yourself and get that of 16 to 25 railcard. With that, you are paying £30 a year for anywhere you are going. And if you want to register for that of 3 years, it's £70. And you can use it to get on the train during the peak times, off-peak times, first class, last class, third class on the train. You are flying to anywhere or getting to anywhere with such amount, just £30. You got that card for whole 1 year. And if you are within the London, get, Oyster card for London. Yes, you can use the Oyster card to travel within the 9 zones of London. So it is very important, and they are going to be giving you that card at a subsidized rate of 30% off the original price as a student. So you need all this in order to minimize cost of transportation within the UK. Meanwhile, thank you so much for stopping to watch this content. Do not forget to like this video, comment, and subscribe to my channel if this is your first time. Follow me on my Instagram at ChinyereOjike, So keep coming for more videos. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Bye for now and see you again.